For this investigation, you must have a graph, and you have two options. You can do the graph by hand on graph paper, old school way, or you can do it on Excel. I'm going to show you how to do it on Excel. Right, so we want to do is open up Excel, and hopefully if you've got Excel installed on your laptop, there's an app ready to go. You just need to click that. Otherwise, if you don't, you can, if you go to log into Manarewa High School, you go to Office. If you just click on the Excel there, that's going to take you to the online version, which is somewhat limited. So you can install it as an app. I think in there will be an option to install it somewhere around there. And once it's installed, open it up. Start with a blank workbook. Now we're going to want to put our numbers in there, so we can go to our booklet here and take these. Probably just copy this whole table straight in, I'd say. Beautiful. And a few things to note here. If you haven't used Excel before, some important things to know is Excel is kind of like a calculator, right? So each one of these boxes, you can put words and things in there, but with the important boxes where you put these numbers in, it's important that you just put the number in. That if instead of typing in 11.10, if you also put in V in there, then it's not going to know what to do with the V. It only handles numbers, like your calculator. So you want to get rid of that V. And also you notice if you put if you put a zero on the end, it kind of cuts that zero off. Whereas you can change that by changing the decimal place. Yeah, just adding an extra decimal place will fix that. Now, Excel can calculate averages for you as well, which can make things nice and quick. And the way you do that is we want to take these four numbers and we want to average them, and we want to put the average in this box. So I'm going to click on that box and I'm going to type in a formula. I'm going to type in equals, then I'm going to write the word average, and then you'll see this word average pop up here. I can double click that. And it's going to give me this bracket, and then I'm going to select numbers that I want to average. So I want to average these four, so I'm going to drag over these four and that, and then I am going to close bracket, right, and then hit the enter button, and again, that number there should be similar to these numbers there. If not, then you've done something wrong. And just like a nice little finishing touch, if I want to, since all these numbers are two decimal places, I might just round this to two decimal places by decreasing the number of decimal places with that button there. Show you one more time. Hit equals, type in the word average, or double click where it says average, and then open bracket, drag over the ones you want averaged, and then shift 0, which close bracket, and again check that these numbers are similar to those numbers. Now once you've done that formula once, you can actually just copy it down by these little green square there. You can drag that down, or Control C for copy, and then paste, right, and I'm just going to round all those. I have to do the rounding, but it's nice to have them rounded. Right, so there's our data table. Next, we want to put all of that into a graph. So we're going to choose a graph. Right, has a y-axis and an x-axis, and one set of numbers goes on the y-axis and one set of numbers goes on the x-axis. So we need to choose which two sets of numbers we want to put in our graph. Well, since we are trying to graph the number of bulbs versus the voltage, it's the average voltage that we want, not trial 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, the average of all of the trials. So I'm going to drag on those numbers. I'm going to drag on that number, those 5 numbers there. Now, if I then go to drag on these numbers as well, I lose those boxes. The way that you can hold on to those boxes, I drag on those, then I'm going to hold down the control button, and I'm going to drag over those ones as well. Right, so now I've got both selected sets of data, and I haven't, I'm not selecting the words above, just the numbers themselves. Then I'm going to go insert, and then recommended charts. Right, and I'm going to choose this chart here. Some of these other charts are okay as well, but this is the one I recommend, this one here. Click OK. Boom, there we've got our chart. And you can, it's good to move this to its own page. So if I go right click, then move chart to new sheet. It makes it nice and big on its own page. And there's a few things that we want to add here. Firstly, we've always got to have titles on our axes. So these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what do those numbers mean? What do these numbers on the y-axis here mean? So to put labels in, I'm going to go axis titles. These numbers down the bottom obviously are the number of bulbs. So I'm going to type that in. Number of bulbs. I'm going to put in the symbol B. These numbers up the side go all the way up to 12. That is volts. Voltage. Symbol V. And it's got units of volts. So I'm going to put units in brackets. Chart title. I'm not too worried about chart title, just usually it's whatever's on the x-axis versus whatever's on the y-axis. So we're going to say number of bulbs versus voltage of a bulb. And last thing I want to put in here is I want a nice smooth line that connects these. So I'm going to go add trend line and get out of the way. Then you see it's this straight line here. It kind of fits the straight line to your data. I think we can get a slightly better fit here. Now, if your data, you think your data is in a nice straight line, then stay on the linear setting right there. Okay. If you think it's a curve, then you want to go to a setting that says power. Right, so if I click on power, I can see that actually that line there gives me a much better fit to my numbers. So I'm going to stick with that setting there. And we can see as we have more and more bulbs, the voltage is going down and down. That is what you need to say for achieved. For merit and excellence, you need to have a mathematical formula that shows as the number of bulbs increase, the voltage goes down. how do you get the formula? Well, Excel can do it for you. It's one of the main reasons that we use Excel here is because it does all the math for us. I'm going to go down in this box here. I'm going to click display equation on chart, and it gives me this tiny little equation there. You can hardly see it, so small, so I'm going to grab it, move it up here, and I'm going to make it nice and big. You can click on that one there to make it bigger. Right, and it gives us a x and y equation. This will look familiar if you've done algebra. You'll see these equations with x and y in them. For merit, we're going to want to take that equation and we're going to want to put it in terms of our variables, so voltage and the number of bulbs. So remember, y represents the numbers on the y-axis. So that's these numbers here, which are numbers of the voltage. So we're going to copy this formula here, and instead of putting in y, I'm going to delete y, I'm going to put in V for volts. Right? And the x represents what goes on the x-axis. So instead of x, I'm going to put in B for volts. Right? So this is a mathematical equation. You can, for whatever number of bulbs you put in, you can, if you just go 11.273 times the inverse of b. What does the inverse of b mean? Or b to the power of -1 basically just means divided by b. Right, so if I want to find the voltage, I can go 11.273, then divide it by the number of bulbs. I'm going to copy that formula. Actually, I'm going to copy this whole graph here. Copy. I'm going to go back to my booklet. And I am going to paste it in. Voila. Right. Now, last thing you need to do for achieved is say the data trend. So basically, just looking at this graph, what is the graph telling us? Well, as we increase the number of bulbs, what happens to the voltage? One bulb gave us kind of 11 volts, and then 2 bulbs gave us less voltage, and 3 bulbs gave us less and less and less. So the more bulbs we add, the less voltage each one's going to get. So that's basically what we need to write. So just this. As the number of bulbs B increases, the voltage of each bulb V is what? Does it go up? Does it go down? Does it stay the same? It's pretty much your options. That is achieved. Done. You can stop there if you're just after achieved. For merit, equation from Excel, well, that's that XY equation that we got up here. So I can put the XY equation in there and customize conclusion, including equation from Excel using correct variables, not Y and X, but using V and B. That would be that equation in there.